What's going on, people? Different, but the YouTube didn't want to work. Middle class income rose above $61,000 for the first time last year, US Census Bureau says. But that's interesting because if you go back, let's see, where is it? If you go back to 2007, before the Great Recession, median household income was above $61,000. So it took from 2007 to 2017 to get back where people were. And this is household income. This isn't single person income. I put something up and I was talking about, matter of fact, let me talk about it. I keep saying that the Trump economy is not what it appears to be. 53 million people in America in low wage jobs. 75 million Americans make less than $33,000 a year. The math don't lie. That's why so many people are struggling. And then I had this person post, because there are many people who misinterpret household income versus single person income. And this is household income. Single person income is 20 something to 30 something thousand dollars per year. That's the problem. Because one of the issues, plus inflation, so for, since 2006, 7, when household income went down for almost a decade, people were losing ground. They were losing real money. They were losing spending power. And, so many people are on Trump's penis that the truth of the matter is Trump inherited the Obama economy. That's why he, because it was on the upswing and he just came in and took credit. Same economy that he said was bad under Obama, he took credit for it. But household income, I want you to really think. Let's do the math here. If you were making, because I put in that, if household income was like 135, we would see some real appreciation. We would see people making moves. We would see people, the economy getting better. And someone's like, well, if, household income was 135, our money being worth nothing. I disagree. That if people figured out a way to increase their income, things would be rosy and wonderful for everybody. It would be wonderful for everybody. But once again, one of the problems is that people don't have they don't have a financial education. This is what happens to little Johnny and little Susie. They go through the high school system, and high school doesn't really prepare them for real life. So they come out of, the stream I did the other night talking about how many people, parents sat them down and talked about money and how to use money and how to do, financial education. And nobody said, no, everybody was like, no, my parents didn't teach me that. The reality is 90 something percent of people's parents don't know. They don't know how this financial game works. And household income, Damani Jones, that's funny. That's another channel. But here is why I'm doing the business prep course to teach people, to give people a crash course on financial literacy. Because one of the things that you should be doing, like take personal credit, you should not use your credit for garbage stuff. You should use your credit for things that make you money. That's what you should be using your credit for. But people use their credit to get a car. People use their credit to get a house. People use their credit for fun stuff. Let's see. And once again, there's something like 50 something million people in America on food stamps. I want you to really think about that. That's crazy when you think about it. Um, so, how do we as a country move forward? What do we have to do to kick it into another gear? One of the things we have to do is become financially literate and stop these bad habits. One of the bad habits is credit. Using, like I've got all these offers in the mail. Everyone's trying to get me to buy a car. I get all these credit card things. Everybody's trying to get me into debt. And I refuse to follow them into debt. I refuse to go in that direction because I know better. I know the next car that I get, it's going to be paid for before it rolls off the lot. That's good financial habits. Most Americans have bad financial habits. I don't care what your FICO score says. I don't care if you could find enough money in your budget to make that payment. Like take cars. I've liked nice cars and I've had nice cars, but I've had the ability to pay cash for them. And one of the things is you go out and you go buy a car and you don't have a good cash flow system, your net worth is going to plummet. Cars depreciate so quickly. And it gets to a level where, like just do this. Go to Car Gurus, go to Auto Trader, and look up the price of these luxury cars. Just look at the price of these luxury cars and then go look at what happens to them literally 5 years later. They crash. So, unless you're buying collectible cars or cars that are going to go up in value, cars are just a bad place to park your money. Now, one of the things that I've done, I've had a few new cars, I paid cash for them. In my first few cars, I was the typical American. I financed them. I didn't know better. You should not be financing cars. That's one of the quickest things that can eradicate your net worth and wealth building ability. And even if you're making 120,000, you and the wife, you should still have two paid off cars in the driveway. Because what's going to happen is, and this is something that I consistently see, and this is impacting the middle class at the $61,000 mark. You'll have a guy, you'll have a girl, and they're married, and they've got two car notes. That is killing their wealth building ability. And what's the absolute worst thing to have? To have a car note, and then the car breaks down. So you got to pay your car note, and then you got to go get it fixed. That is a budget wrecker if there is ever a budget wrecker. So how do we get around this? We have to educate people. We have to let them know there's a better way. Once again, start with that car. If you are a person who just got a new car this year, idling in Cameron, your hustling godfather is going to urge you to get rid of it. Sell that car, get from under, and get you a car you can pay cash for. That one move can do so much for your financial life. And another thing is, we've got the Instagram life, people trying to do the Instagram life. And you have so many people out here who are using credit wrong. Once again, this will be in the course. How to use credit. You should not use your personal credit nor your business credit for fun things. Fun things should come out of your income or passive income. So you, because like essentially, once you learn how to manage your personal finances, it's just going to catapult you into being able to make up more money. It's going to catapult you into a whole different level of financial literacy. One of the things that happens to many people is they fall prey to the credit indoctrination system, the credit syndicate. You get that first credit card, you get those student loans, you get your first car loan, and at that point, you're done. You got people right now who are 60, 70 years old with personal debt and their own fixed incomes, if they have any income. You got bankruptcy filings for, let's see, let me go ahead and, oh man, it's already elderly filing for bankruptcy. Elderly bankruptcy is on the rise. Forbes. It used to be elderly people were very practical. Mike Dunmore, if your cash is funky, yeah. Because see, this is the thing. We live in a culture where people are, I believe in fun. I believe in having fun. I believe fun is an important part of life. But it's hard to have fun and enjoy your life when you are living in a state of crippling debt. You got a lot of people out here who are in debt. They got two car notes, they got credit card payments, and they're gonna go, what's up, Johnny? Well, and they're gonna go take a vacation because they're so stressed. They're gonna take a vacation with all that debt, with all of those bad notes. They're gonna take a vacation and they're gonna put it on the credit card. And they just got enough of a credit limit to put this vacation on. They're gonna go to do this vacation. They're gonna lay around and do nothing while their debts continue to increase. Then they're gonna come back from that vacation and they're gonna be driving down the road and one of those cars is going to break down and it's going to wreck their budget. It's going to completely wreck their budget. So one of the things that we all need to do, and everyone needs a budget. Everyone needs to have a budget. Everyone needs to have a budget. I'm going to say this again. Everyone needs to have a budget. Because if you don't have a budget, Tommy, that's not necessarily true. You can start a business for absolutely very little. Now, the cars that increase in value are like your Ferraris, your Porsche, your limited edition cars, which most people can't afford anyway. But once again, we need a new education. We need to have financial literacy. And it is something that is so dear to my heart because when I got financial literacy, I got free. I was able to come out of the matrix. I was able to make moves. I was able to grow my net worth. And I'm debt free right now. And this is why, like I'm talking about getting into real estate. And I just didn't like the market. And I didn't want to put all my cash in a house at the moment. I don't think real estate's going to crash like it did. in 2007, 8, and 9. I don't think it's going to do that. But I do believe it's going to soften a little bit. And that's when I'm going to jump in. What's the most cash I've seen at once? I've seen $1 million cash. Well, actually, 3 million. It was at a storage auction. That's right, Jason. One of the things that you've got to do is understand the power of your money. Do you feel that middle class? I truly feel that middle class is 125, 130. True middle class, not the government statistic of middle class. 20 something or someone, two people making 20 something or 30 something. One person makes 30,000, another one makes 31,000. That ain't middle class to me. That's struggle class. Um, but if you know the numbers, dang, my dad on a fixed income gave up a free, almost new house in the ATL in exchange for a 200K mortgage on another house. A 200K mortgage on another house because his new wife wanted a bigger house. Now they broke up. Wow. Wow. And once again, let's talk about, this is a little disruptive male. You should get with a woman whose financial goals are in line with yours. Like, you had a house that was free, almost new. Why did they give it up? Why didn't he just keep that house and rent it out? I don't know. But once again, the financial education that most people need, they're not getting, and they're unaware that they need a financial education. So once again, most folks are unaware that they need a financial education. Many people are unaware that they need to manage their money on a whole different level. I don't think the housing market's going to crash like it did. Well, Jason, I've been pushing that for years, and a lot of guys, they meet Big Booty Betty, and Big Booty Betty give them some, and it's so good that they lose their minds. And they're not thinking about the future. They're not thinking about what's coming next. They're not thinking about what's down the road. It's just Big Booty Betty blessed them with some. And they're like that pig that's done, that's roasted. But once again, we're going to get into a lot of training because, like I said, this whole week I've been working on the prep class, which is something you need to do before you start a business. I have seen this with some people I've known that they'll start a business and they've got bad money management habits and they take that to the business. The business makes 50, they start spending 70 using credit cards. Because essentially what a high income for more people is the ability to get into more debt. That's what they see a high income as. They don't see it as a tool for wealth building. I remember this silly post on Facebook. Would you take $1 million cash right now or an 800 FICO score? And so many people were talking about that FICO score. You know what you could do with $1 million cash right now? $1 million cash right now can set you up for lifetimes. $1 million cash, you can go out and get yourself 7 rentals. 7 rentals and get yourself $10,000 a month coming in. And have a net worth that's growing because those rentals are going to increase in value. You can take $1 million and blow up your business. There's so many things you can do, but people were so predicated on the American credit indoctrination that they're like 800 FICO. And the only way you're gonna have a high FICO is to have the ability to get into a lot of debt, but don't do it. And this is why you need business credit as well as personal credit, because I believe in such a thing as good debt. Good debt is money used to increase your business, used to buy assets that produce returns. That's good debt. I would not use credit cards to buy stock, though. That's a risky proposition. I would use cash only. But, everybody needs a new, everyone needs to have a financial education, because what you're seeing in America is the lack of a financial education. Good Lord, Apple Mac. He was a Katrina survival. Someone gave him a free house and he turned that down for a house with a mortgage. That was a bad financial move all the way around. So he had him a big booty Betty. Okay. Once again, mess around with these sugar babies, and this will be a disruptive male, but I can tell you this insight. Most of these young chicks have no plan, have no ability, have no goals. Their lives are dumpster fires, and they're looking for a sugar daddy who could just, like, whenever they go, "Daddy, I need $300." That's what they're looking for. They're looking for someone that every time that they have a financial need, they can go to, "Daddy, Daddy, I need $300. Daddy, I need $500." There is no plan to improve themselves. There's no plan to get better. There's no plan to make better financial decisions. There is no plan for economic progress. Good Lord, Apple Mac. And, one of the things that happens with this is because, like, put it this way, Michael Strahan's ex-wife, she ran through $16 million. She's trying to get some more money out of Michael. $16 million. Let me go ahead and tell you what 16 million settlement. You get this money. I don't believe divorce settlements are taxed. I'm not really sure on that, but don't quote me on that. But you get 16 million cash. If you know what to do with that $16 million, you can have 100 to 200K per month coming in passive income. 200K a month passive income. If you're really on top of your game, you could probably get $250,000, $300,000 per month passive income for life. For life. So, once again, people don't understand the power of money, because, like, if I won the lottery, I have a young lady I know who's always broke. She got bad money habits. I used to date this girl who took her 15 years to put $15,000 in her retirement fund. 15 years. I dated another chick who did that in a year. One of the things that happens, all right, easy. One of the things that is happening is that people don't understand money. And one of the things is that I personally don't believe giving people money. Here's Google this. What happens to divorced mothers once they stop receiving child support. They go down. See, this whole notion of being daddy, and that's essentially what a high incomer is in a divorce case. Good Lord, man, your dad is in a world of hurt. So once again, money is power, and people need to get this financial education. People need to understand what's the reality of their money. All right, so let's say you're a low income earner. Let's say you make $25,000 a year. Opulence is an excellent, that's a good way to go. Say you make $25,000 a month. You're bringing home 2K a month. You cannot live in a luxury apartment. You cannot drive a luxury car. You need to get yourself a Honda, a Toyota, a Nissan, preferably a four-cylinder. And you save on gas, you save on repairs, and you drive until the wheels fall off. Then, since you don't have a car payment, what you would spend in a car payment, you take that for investments. And you can't live in the best of apartments. You can't live in the nicest of apartments. You can't do that. And many people who are at those low economic levels spend so much money on luxury items. It's ridiculous. We've all seen these memes where, you'll have a rich guy and a wealthy guy and how they're dressed. And everyone likes to say Zuckerberg just wears t-shirts. Zuckerberg has like 10 houses. He ain't the same. T1 Fitness. I used to be the idiot who wanted the 800 credit score, but even with that score, I couldn't get $1 million on credit. I went for a PayPal loan. The main thing they wanted were bank statements. That's the reality. When I was doing those credit videos and I was telling people how one of my clients got a credit card with a $100,000 limit and he had bad credit, he banked at Chase and Chase looked at his accounts and gave him a $100,000 limit. Fahida, how do you know when it's time to upgrade your lifestyle? When you've got money saved, you've got money in the bank, you got investments going. Like for many years, even though I made a lot of money, I only lived on $3,000 a month for many, many years. But $3,000, you could kind of ball out when you don't have regular, because essentially, let me go ahead and break that down. The company has always paid for where I lived. So that 3 grand was $3,000 pure. There was no credit card payments coming out. There was no car payments. I think I paid my insurance and bought food. So if you've got a pure $3,000, and because this is one of the reasons that I'm doing the business prep course, is to get people into this business life. Because, all right, I want you to think about, what if your business paid your rent or your mortgage and you got that as a tax deduction? How good would life be then? This is something I've been doing for years. The business the business pays for everything. Business pays for the cell phone. I have a business account for the cell phone. Um, Business pays for this house. And once again, you could play this game. Even if you were in an apartment, you could still rent your apartment to your company. A lot of people don't know this. It's about setting up stuff to have this thing. Because essentially, someone will tell you like, well, the RS is only going to allow you to claim X percentage of your apartment for tax deductions. True. However, if you rent your apartment to your business and you charge a little bit more than what your company's charging for rent, you get to write that all off as a business expense. I mean, there's a certain way you got to do it, and there's a certain way you got to structure it. But once again, this business game, yeah. Now, once again, don't just go out here and try to do this without knowing how to do it. You got to do it a certain way. Now, once again, once you get into this business life and once you become financially literate, you can run all of your expenses, your cell phone bill, your car, all that stuff through the business. And these things that are just taking all your money right now become tax deductions. This is why, because people out here talking about capitalism. I feel like having money without the education is a curse. I see tons of 18, 21st year on YouTube balling out, buying Rolexes, Hellcats, and penthouses, but have no investments. Like Omni. Notice that they took his cars. He said nothing about them taking his rental properties. He's been talking about this going on. They took my cars, all this in the driveway. But if he had all these investments, they would have took them too. They would have took the investment in houses. I want you to understand, if you break the law to get money and you buy something, they can seize that. You just got a rental this year, which I put in the LC because of that. Now I can do a home office, which I deducted 20% of my mortgage. Well, this whole house, because it's the YouTube house, the whole thing is a deduction because I literally used this whole house for YouTube. And that's probably going to be the case for the next one. It was one chick complaining how she had made 300K, but she had nothing to show for it. Many people don't have financial plan. I found out that Omni was the inventor of Cody. That's why he's rich. What is Cody? What's up, Steven? One of the things that you got to understand is the paper game. Like, I had a lot of people in here talking about the banks were freaking out when they went in and opened up all these checking accounts. They're not used to regular people coming in with that kind of knowledge. Once you get up on this LLC game and this business game, Cody's the app you use to get free movies on Amazon Fire Stick. That just sounds like breaking the law right there. I could be wrong. All right. Well, they shut Napster down for the same thing. So he basically had an illegal cable streaming company. So he had monthly subscription, massive cash flow. Like I said, there's more to this. And if you listen to him, he said nothing about them seizing his assets and rental properties. So once again, and let's talk about Omni and Hellcat. The channel was built on stunting. he was like Robin Hood. He was like this guy who didn't have no money. He was a regular guy that came up and he got all this money. And he was buying, giving the pizza guy money, like $1,000 tip. Well, once again, if they came after his cars, they would come after his rental properties. And I also remember saying that he had to borrow some money. If he had rental properties, he had an income coming in. Hello? Like I said, the more I listen to this, the more that there's something that's just missing. There's something he's, well, once again, I would be surprised. I would be surprised. I'm going to tell you about one of my friends. And I'm not going to say what he does. But he has $2 million in cash somewhere. So they can't seize that. And the way Omni was spending money, I am really surprised he did not have a grip somewhere. Like a couple of million cash up in the house, buried in the backyard. So once again, I mean, I've listened to some of his videos. They wouldn't have just came for his cars, they would have came for everything. And the fact that he's not talking about that they're not coming for his rental properties, and the fact, I mean, it's the first of the month. He should have some money coming in. First of the month. He wouldn't have had to make loans. Like, once again, I'm listening to the whole story. When this went down, first of the month was literally around the corner. So once again, it's just some stuff is missing. There's stuff he's not saying. Yeah, they come for everything. Rob, once again, he wasn't financially literate. Take Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff took some of those illegally gotten gains and he put the money in trust funds for his kids and his wife, and they didn't seize that money. They only seized the money that was in his name. Once again, he didn't have a financial education because what did I say at the beginning of this stream? Buying cars is one of the worst things you can do. He was spending all that money on depreciating assets. All right, you got millions, you got racks on racks, you get you a few nice rides, okay. But you got 30, 40 cars. Every time you turn around, you're going to buy a new car? That makes no sense. I got only 2 cars, and one I have to have a trickle charger on it because I don't drive it that much. So once again, that was the lack of a financial education. He had that money coming in. I'm going to tell you, this is what it looks like to me. He looked like an NBA or NFL rookie who just got some money. That's what he looked like. He didn't look like a seasoned business person. He was just spending, wearing these big old ridiculous chains. But this is what people on YouTube want to see. They want to see somebody because they were vicariously living through this dude. So, I mean, 30 for 30 broke, yeah. Robbie Rob. The funny thing is, he said to himself he was trying to fill a void by buying those cars. Just like you said, G, to be truly happy, you got a plan for your ideal life. Absolutely. I spend a lot of time alone. And I've come to an understanding that a lot of people, the life that I lead, would drive them crazy because they need people. I'm very, I like having people around. I like going to parties and stuff, but it doesn't bother me to be alone. So once again, Even millionaires need budgets, and millionaires more than anyone else need. Yeah, Fahita, that was a lot of ill-advised stuff because he was craving attention. There was a lot of people in the comments were saying he shouldn't have said this, he shouldn't have said that. Smokeout, that's what it's like over the road truck driving. Yeah, you spend a lot of time by yourself. And, this is a life of choice. I chose this life. And if I wanted to do something different, I'll make more decisions. And that's the key. You want to be able to choose the life you live. Like, once again, this dude put this stuff on my thread talking about middle class income was $61,000. $61,000 for one person ain't that much money. It ain't that much money. It is really not. When you put in all of the bills that the average American have, because let's talk about the middle class. The middle class is the largest cash cow for corporations because the middle class buys a lot of useless stuff. They have a lot of things they don't need. They have a lot of stuff that, it's the middle class that's out here that's, buying some stuff. Because, one thing I've noticed, I would agree with that internal bliss. It was funny. I ordered something and it went to the wrong house, and one of my neighbors brought it to me today because I saw that it was delivered, but I didn't get it. And it is interesting how people who have are very generous. Now, everyone around here is paid. They live in these $700 to $1 million houses, 700,000 up to 1.5 million in this neighborhood. So, if you're living here, you got to have money. Oh, dude, Mr. Urban World. What I do is use my LLC to buy items for myself wholesale instead of paying retail prices for personal pleasure. One of my life hacks. Dude, that's one of the reasons I got my first business license. I'll tell y'all a story. When I was a kid, there was these Sears and JC Penney catalogs. They were massive, right? And I would go in and create these wish lists and stuff. One of the main reasons I got in business was so I could get stuff wholesale for personal use. I did that for many years. I can still get into the apparel mart downtown and get, great stuff for the low low. And this is one of the things that you can happen when you get in this business life. There's so many benefits, but many people are just not. Man, I hacked that for years. And the storage auction business was one of the largest hacks. The garage, catalogs, yep. Yeah, as the business grew, that's when we got the warehouse. We used to do everything in the garage. At one time, we had 21 booths in the flea market, so that's where we stored a lot of stuff. And it just got to the point where we couldn't get in when we needed to get in, so we had to get our own storefront. And then once we got the storefront, we needed to have warehouses to feed it. Appliance boot camp. He never talked business. He could never explain exactly how he made his money. Most of us that build our own businesses can reconstruct it with today's technology within a few weeks. Pretty much. That was one of my big knocks on him, Appliance Boot Camp. He never said what he could do in simple, easy terms. Hey, I'm Glendon Cameron. I have Hustlers Kung Fu University. I have Disruptive Mail. I sell online courses helping people have better lives. Boom! He could not do it. And the fact that he could not and would not do it, knew that he was doing something shady. Because once again, to get into that, it's very challenging. It's not like somebody can just take his business model and duplicate it. It just couldn't. Oh, we did scale a resale business. We had two warehouses and we were selling stuff online. I didn't know that about the Kennedy family. But once again, this financial literacy is such an important thing. I found this new person. Robbie Rob, I almost opened up a car lot. And that was for that very reason. Because when you go to Kelly Blue Book and you see the price that dealers can buy cars and what they sell for retail, you're like, whoa, that's a big differential. That's a serious differential. And this is, it took me. What do you mean scale? I don't understand. One of the big things that I want you guys to understand is everything in your life is a choice. A lot of people want to talk about, I got these kids to feed across the country. I don't understand. When you had sex with that woman and she came to you and said, I'm pregnant, y'all decide to have those children. No one put a gun to your head to make you have those children. No one did that. Everything is a choice. Everything starts off as a choice. And if you're not financially literate, and it's going to happen, it's because you're an average American. Because once you start to become atypical, you start looking for knowledge. You start looking for things. Oh man, of course they pull back on food stamps. You know how many people in America own food stamps? This gonna blow your mind. Check this out. Google it. Participants. A summary statistical report indicated that the average of 44.2 million people used the program in 2016, down from 45 million people in 2015. In 2013, the peak was 47.6 million people on SNAP. That's more than 10% of the population are on food stamps. All right, Junie. The real James, don't go out and just grab a side hustle. Find something that is in alignment with one of your strengths. It's going to work out much better. There's a lot of people, because I remember they called Obama the food stamp president. I think there was almost 50 million people in America on food stamps. Robbie Rob, having kids to feed is all the more reason to get things in gear. I have twins and still have two YouTube channels rolling out in a few weeks, plus a blog and some construction work this spring. Get it, get it. Quentin Jackson, there are more white people on food stamps than black. You want to know why? Because there's more poor white people than there are all black folks. Food stamps were off the chain. K Pro. Check out the HBO documentary Paycheck to Paycheck. If that don't motivate you to start a business, I don't know what will. Kids are cool if you prepare for them. Internal bliss. People are one check away from being homeless. Letting medical trauma happen, you may end up working homeless. Apple Appliance Boot Camp, like I said, he knew he was doing something, quote, in a gray area. He knew it because he never would talk about how he made his money. And I mean, once again, just stunned. So, one of the things that I want you guys to understand, a financial education is priceless. You can't put a price on it. Once you get a good, solid financial education, you could never go back to living the way that you used to live. You can't do it. Once you know better, you will do better. You just can't go back to living like you used to live. You just can't do it. The real James, YouTube is a slow grind, man. I mean, you gotta look at YouTube in this year versus next year, not this week or this month. Sometimes it takes a video 4 weeks to flesh out. All right, Robbie Rob. The main character was a CNA, $9 an hour with three kids. At the end of the documentary, she got a 14-cent raise. It took her 2 years to get that raise. Good Lord, 14 cents. That's like $1 a day. It's like 27, it's like $30 a month. Good Lord. Once you get a financial education, once you arm yourself with knowledge, you just cannot be out here living like an average American. Once you know better, you will do better. Cedric McMillan, I'm telling you, many people, you know, because the LLC, the art of holding sells very well. And a lot of people are getting it because if you have a financial education, then you go ahead and you start structuring your stuff. Like you start a YouTube channel and put that in the LLC and start getting money from your getting money back off your W-2 taxes. I mean, the Wi-Fi bread is addictive, man. It's really addictive. Any advice on PayPal credit? This is what you do. You start a PayPal account, you start running transactions. Have a neighbor that has a church and a food pantry. 90% of the recipients are white. 40 cars lined up before these. Hey, it's 40 some million people on food stamps. In a lot of places, there's a lot of people who cannot get. I think it would be about 60 million if everyone that applied could get on food stamps. I mean, seriously. Once again, many people just don't have a financial education. And once you get armed with knowledge, you can't go back. Like, this YouTube thing was a game changer for me. Once I got out of working a job, working a job was the only way that I to make money. And then when I started GC Solutions and I was like all that money in the bank, and then I started selling new office furniture, took a big L on that. And then when I got in the storage auction business, I saw that cash. There was no way I was going back to a job. There was no way. Couldn't do it. Now, once again, once you know and once you get the heart to go out and chase money, because once again, you could be the typical American. You can have a job and you cannot work that hard. This is one of the reasons that people want jobs. Like, it has been proven that people who work from home are more productive than people who work in the office because all the distractions. Well, let me go down here and talk to Ed, and let's have a break, and let me go smoke a cigarette. The average person doesn't work 8 hours a day. With PayPal, start you a PayPal account and run some transactions through it and get yourself eligible for a PayPal business loan. I mean, PayPal credit, I mean, it's going to go off your FICO score. So you only got 1,300. Either you don't make a lot of money or you have a low score. And once again, financial literacy is so important. I knew people making money online, but seeing it firsthand is an eye opener. I mean, making 10K a month from home would be insane. My friend makes about 2 to 3K, but he's doing the bare minimum. Well, when someone is handing you something, they can make you do whatever. Ganja, that's true. Now, once you get into business, like the number one preparatory job for your own business is 100% commission job. And people like, no, 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 no. And can't do that because they know they ain't gonna work hard enough to make any money. Once you've done a 100% commission job, you've put yourself in the position to own a business. Owning a business is 100% commission. Unless you work or produce, you don't get paid. All right, Paul Brown. Good Lord, Fajita. Really? People don't do better than people who are sober? All right. Because once again, PayPal credit, PayPal business loans go up to, I think, 2 or 3 million bucks. You got to have some crazy volume for that. But once again, let's see. Uh, all right. So to get this business knowledge, I want you guys to go to heavywallet.org and get into the prep course. I'm working on it all week. I've got a lot of stuff in there. So this is where we are right now. More to come. So I want you to go ahead and get in that. Go to heavywallet.org and we're going to school you. We're going to set y'all up with this financial education. Because one of the things I'm doing is giving some of my personal philosophies like credit. Don't use credit unless you could pay it off at the end of the month, or preferably use your credit card like a debit card. Like once a week, whatever you spend on your credit, you go to your checking account and you pay that credit card off. That's one of the things I do. You can get crazy amount of points by doing that. And also, I want you guys to really work on your financial education because it's going to take a minute. I'll be robbed. Facts. Safety and security can often be another name for coasting and doing the bare minimum. Get a job and just show up and do half of what they tell you to do to keep your job. Absolutely, T1. M Sway. People think sitting and standing is working when they do that at home. They don't get paid for it. You're paid to show up mainly. Like when I had employees in the consulting business, man, you feel like a babysitter of adults, making sure that people do what they need to do. And you get a gym who does what they need to do without you cracking the whip. That's great. That's awesome. But often that's hard to find. That's hard to isolate. But I want you guys to get find this week because I'll be finished with the home prep course. Next week, I'm going to get into the art of holding and just talk about so many benefits. Like if you start a YouTube channel and you create an LLC and you do it the right way, you can write that off your taxes, regardless of how many views you get. I mean, that's crazy when you think about it. That's crazy. But a lot of people don't want to do that. People don't want to do that. A lot of people don't really want to do that. So, good Lord, man. Sporky, what's going on, bro? Where should I start get my credit up and get on a budget? I got 5 kids and a stay-at-home wife. I run over 1650 and my annual income's around 105, 100, 105 before tax. First thing you need to do is get on the budget. And if you got any debt, you need to get rid of that debt. That should be your job number one. You got 5 kids. Good Lord. Your wife is a hard working woman. So, once again, go ahead to heavywallet.org, sign up for the course, and then next week I'm going to do the LLC deal. And then after that, I'm going to do probably some other stuff. So, you don't want to miss that because I'm going to be bringing the training because I feel everyone in America needs a financial education. It's going to change how you do things. It's going to change how you spend your money. It's going to change how you use your credit. Big, big deal. So with that, I will see you guys later.